I have the Facebook live chat. You keep an eye on YouTube. I keep an eye on Facebook.
Sounds good.
All right, great. So we're live both on. I think we're live on YouTube as well. Let us know.
I don't see anything yet.
I see. Yep, we are live both on Facebook and on YouTube.
There we are.
Cool. So we're gonna be. This is Jim. My name is Armin. We're gonna be covering the latest news on atheism, religion, secularism from a global perspective from all around the world. We're gonna jump into it really quickly, but just a few seconds before we start, Jim, you have two small announcements before we start covering the first news.
Yeah, first, as usual, I want to thank our patrons. Without our donors, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. I want to thank you real quick, Nick Miller, for your $5 pledge. We greatly appreciate that. If you guys want to do it, go check out our Patreon. And secondly, I will be debating Jonathan Sheffield on Modern Day Debate on Monday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So go check that out. It's going to be really good. We are debating, are the Gospels reliable? That's what I got.
Sweet. I see Mars and Christy in the YouTube live chat. I see Poe, Khalid, and Mary in the Facebook live chat, and Idriel, and
stay out of my YouTube chat. Those are my people.
Hi,
Christy. Hi, Mars.
Christy, we did a debate recently on Israel, and she was very patient. I don't know if you saw that, Jim, but thank you so much, Christy, for all the mod work that you did. Her and Beej were awesome. Anyways, let's not wait any longer. What's the first news?
The first news: Egyptian man sues wife for subjecting his daughters to FGM. Noor Eden Al-Hanafi filed a case against his wife last month, accusing her of violating the law by having his daughters operated on without his or his daughter's consent. In a phone interview with TEN Television, he said, when my wife told me she would circumcise my daughter, I refused and I warned her, but she circumcised them, so I filed a case against her to get her punished. She consulted religious scholars in Egypt and Saudi Arabia, all of whom denounced FGM, which is female genital mutilation. His case has been adjourned until it was adjourned until December 24th of last year. But he said that he would vow that he vowed to continue with it. The Egyptian parliament has approved a bill to tighten laws surrounding female genital mutilation in 2016, but it's still pretty prevalent. I tried to find something to figure out what happened with this. This was in an interview with the man earlier in December, in the middle part of December, and he was looking forward to the trial on December 24th, and I could not find anything regarding the trial or the results of that trial.
So you're skeptical about this news? Who's reporting?
Well, I'm not skeptical about this happening. I'm just skeptical about the media talking on it. I'm guessing that whatever verdict they came to either was inconclusive or it showed. I mean, I don't know. I can't even speculate on that.
Right.
That's just.
I mean, if Egypt is cracking down on this is really good. I mean, there's so much stuff that we cover about Egypt that we usually disagree with and we hate about Egypt, especially when they made atheism illegal. But if Egypt is cracking down on this, that's really good. But this should be more than just suing somebody. This should be criminal. Like, I don't understand. Why is it if a mother goes out and cuts another part of her daughter's body, she would go to jail, wouldn't she? Like, why is it that some body parts you cut and you get less punishment for them than other body parts? Like, let's say the headline news was like mother cuts daughter's ears off, right?
Yeah.
I admire this man for suing the wife. Good job, but I think if we were living in a sane world, it wouldn't even go to suing them. This person would be the child would be taken away from the mom, and she would be in jail. Like, if the headline news was mom cuts off daughter's ears, there would be no doubt. And I think any country in the world would put her in prison. But for some, and this shows how religion has normalized something so barbaric that. The only way that we accept it is because of the normalization by religion. I mean, even among secular people, cutting off genitalia has become normalized because of the influence of religion. This is so horrific. I mean, the father actually warned the mother before she did this not to do this, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, and it's crazy because I mean, you still see, circumcision just being normalized, completely normalized, and that's what they're trying to do with female genital mutilation. But luckily, there are people who are speaking up against this.
By the way, we have on Facebook, we have someone from Egypt, Omar, saying atheism isn't legal. Yeah, that's what I said. Atheism became illegal in Egypt. It isn't recognized. Yeah, but this is, and again, a lot of people say that this is not a religious thing. This is a cultural thing. It's both, because we do have hadith in Islam that supports this. Female genital mutilation. I think we're going to talk about male genital mutilation as well, like circumcision, but that's in later. We have that in later.
Wait for that story.
We will wait for that story. But again, this is absolutely barbaric. These people, anybody that puts their child under, and this is so widespread in Egypt and in other Islamic and African countries. So
right, they're saying that 80% of the women from 15 to 50 in Egypt have been genitally mutilated.
Right. So yeah, are those accurate? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It was that. Well, that's a 2016 survey by the UN Children's Fund. But yeah, that's 87%. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's a whole lot. I believe that's more than there are males that are circumcised. I believe.
Right. Omar in the Facebook live chat is clarifying that he meant that it isn't illegal, but we covered news items that they were making atheism illegal in Egypt, and we have somebody, what's his name, Sharif Gaber in Egypt, which is on hiding because of his atheism. So if we're wrong about this, please let us know.
No, they did consider it. It was the Egyptian parliament that was trying to do it.
So trying to do it, or they did pass it?
They tried to. They did not.
So they weren't successful. Okay, Omar, thank you for clarifying that. Edward is saying that I think he's giving us the hadith from. I'm not going to read the narration. I'm just going to read the circumcision is a law for men and a preservation and of honor for women. Okay, so this is Ahmed ibn Hanbal 575. Abu Dawud. So I'm not going to read the narration. It's Abu Dawud at 167. So it's basically, Edward is giving us a hadith that makes the, female genital mutilation Islamic. And Omar is saying, yeah, it's a gray area. Let me see what the top comments on Facebook are on the post.
It's not a gray area when almost 90% of the women are being done, and it's being done
Omar,
by an.
He's talking about atheism being illegal in Egypt.
Okay.
Zeus is saying, wow, especially from a man, this must be a first there. Especially from a man, this must be a first there? What are you talking about? Like, I think this man fighting for his daughter is not, I think there are many men that recognize this is barbaric. I don't understand what you're talking about. Mila is saying, I love that a man stood up for his daughter. It's usually the men that insist on it. This lightens my heart. I don't know, man. There's a lot of mothers that do this to their own children. I don't know if this is standing up for your daughters shouldn't be something that women or men do. This is something that all humans should do. You shouldn't let a child go through this. I hope that this is not we turn this into a battle of sexes. Pamela is saying culture makes same-gendered parents think they're unnecessary. Same-gendered parents think they're unnecessary, probably harmful. Genitalial modification is a good thing because tradition or matching or belief that the opposite gender prefers it. No, Instead, we need to.
What?
No, I think it's not. It's not. I think that's male.
That's not why it's done.
No, and that's male circumcision. A lot of people make that excuse that women prefer it that way, which is absolutely a stupid excuse. But for female genital mutilation, that's not usually the excuse. The excuse is that they're trying to reduce the pleasure that women feel from sex, or that they don't become sexually promiscuous, which is absolutely fucking horrific way of thinking.
Right. Well, because according to the Judaic teachings of the Hebrew Bible, that women are not supposed to experience pleasure. Like, that's not supposed to be part of it.
So I don't know. Where did you get your stats from? 90%? Did you say 90% of Muslims practice FGM?
No, I said almost 90% in Egypt. Of the women from age 15 to 50, I believe, was the number.
Right. So that's not for all Muslims. That's
Egypt. That's just Egypt.
Egypt. Okay. Why does God care about penis and vagina so much? Well, I mean, I don't want to get into that discussion, but some people. So we had an episode on secular jihadists. We talked to an expert about this, and one theory is that it's an act of devotion. Like it made the meme of Judaism and eventually Islam stronger by showing how dedicated you are to your tribe, I guess. I mean, Islam copied it from Judaism, and I think Judaism copied it from somewhere else. I'm not sure. But.
Well, and they also did it to make sure, or to better ensure that the woman would reach marriage before losing her virginity. So they were trying to desensitize.
No, I was talking about male. He was talking about penis. I was talking about male circumcision. Well, we'll get to that.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. Okay. So Sophia is saying he did the right thing. FGM must stop. I definitely agree. By the way, we should tell people what FGM means, because some people don't know. Female genital mutilation. I think male circumcision should also be called male. Instead of calling it circumcision, they should call that male genital mutilation, because the word mutilation is a good way of describing this thing. They shouldn't just. Circumcision is an easier way to like ignore it as something horrific.
In the YouTube live chat, Antediluvian Atheist says, if you want to cut bits of yourself, bits off yourself, go nuts. It's your body. I mean, don't cut bits off of other people. You don't. People say, "Oh, it's my child. I get to do whatever I want." No, you don't own your child. You can't decide something for them before they get to decide it from them. If you're an adult, I mean, cut off your own arm if you want to. I don't give a shit. I mean, actually, this is something that they can't go back later. Like, this isn't like your parent deciding what haircut to give you, because you can always decide on that later. It'll grow back. This is something that is very much life changing.
Yeah. You shouldn't be able to make a decision for. So, like, imagine if you did this to an adult. Like, if you went to the street and with a van and just got somebody into a van and just put them down and tied them out and just cut off their genitalia, right? If this was covered in the news, people would be like, "What the fuck? Let's go find these people and arrest them," right? But apparently, if you do it to an adult, people are shocked. But if you do it to an infant, that it doesn't have any way to fight back or to say that no, please. By the way, did you know that they do it? I didn't know this, but they do it without anesthetics. Like, they are feeling every bit of that.
And it's usually done by a designated I want to say midwife, but that's not the right term. But it's a person who's designated, usually by the local imam or whatever, who goes from house to house with razor blades doing this. And usually it's either the mother or the grandmother that ceremoniously holds the girl's legs apart.
So they're torturing infants.
And and most of these little girls, in their accounts, they don't know that this is going to happen until she's coming in there telling her to take her panties off and she's having her legs held open.
So, like, if it was in the news, like, let's say that there was in prison, they were cutting people's genitals as a means of torture. Without people would be like so horrified. But when infants are experiencing the same pain, Why is it like right now, as we speak, there are many infants right now experiencing shitload of pain, and no people are not doing anything about it. But I mean, there are many people
Well,
that
they won't do anything about it.
There are
because
many
the only
activists,
people,
actually. Yeah.
Well, they won't do anything about it because there are no victims of this, no victims of it happening that can advocate for themselves. They have nobody to stand up for them.
But by the way, let's not say that there's nobody, because there's a lot of activists out there that are doing it. Like,
there's not enough.
There's not enough. But shout out to Ian here, CLE, for being one of the leading voices against this act of barbarity. Anything in the YouTube live chat that we need to read?
I think that was the last one with Atheist Republic tagged. Answer Delivian says it's not that it's an infant, it's that it's tradition, culture. Yeah. I mean,
what? Wait, what? It's not.
I don't know. I'm confused on. It says it's not that it's an infant; it's that it's tradition, culture. I think maybe they're trying to say that it doesn't matter that it's a baby; it matters that it's a problem at all. Right. Maybe.
No, I'm talking about how helpless they are. Like, we're going through this, and if you say, oh, they're not going to remember, well, they're experiencing pain right there. The fact that they're not going to remember doesn't mean that they haven't experienced pain.
Well, and they might not experience the pain, or they might not remember the experience of the pain, but they will be experiencing less sensation for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, but even if they don't, even if it doesn't have, which it does have lasting cost to it, but even if they didn't, the fact that they're experiencing that shitload of pain at that time is enough for it to be this is a crime against humanity, I think. This is basically torture being done on a mass scale to a whole bunch of people, and the world is just watching. Anyways, let's go to the next news.
Televangelist. Jesus was vaccinated against the flu, so we don't have to be. Gloria Copeland, a televangelist, told her viewers not to worry catching the flu, as Jesus provided his followers with a metaphorical flu shot that will protect them during flu season. She said, "Flu, I bind you off the people in the name of Jesus." Jesus himself gave us the flu shot. He redeemed us from the curse of the flu.
I swear these people are trying to be stupid just to get media attention. Like, I can't believe people are being this stupid, but I guess they are.
It's crazy. If Kenneth and Gloria Copeland have not made so much money off of the people who are supporting them in their ministries, they would not have the money to live for as long as they do and keep spouting off this ignorant, stupid bullshit.
So does this mean that if somebody actually does get the flu, that they're not a Christian? Like, what happens if she gets the flu then? Like, what if?
Well, it means that I don't know. I don't know. Well, hey, wait.
Where is that in the Bible, by the way?
If she is claiming that Jesus gives us the metaphorical flu shot, is she saying that Jesus is responsible for autism?
Oh shit! Jesus gives you autism.
Jesus gives the autism.
Oh my god! So, I have a question about this, because I'm a free speech absolutist, but in most cases, but I think, like, that doesn't apply to when something is actually a crime. For example, if you're selling a medicine that doesn't work, and you tell people that if you sell something as medicine, but it's actually nothing in there, and I'm not talking about actual doctors giving you, what is it called, placebo, because they know what works. I'm talking about like a scam. That's a crime, right? So do you think, like, people that say that, oh, vaccines don't get vaccinated and are putting people in danger and risking their lives, do you think that should be a crime, or is that covered under free speech?
Well, I mean, it's not really. I mean, I don't know. I know that we've really covered this before about, should we prevent people from spreading harmful ideas, especially ones that.
Well, I mean, if we do that, then religion would, all of religion, everything religious would be, we wouldn't have freedom from religion. So I don't know, like, but what's the difference between somebody selling false marketing and like a con job, like selling a medicine that is not really a medicine, that is covered under, that's a crime, right?
Well, but then again, that can be proven not to work. You can actually take it into a case study on that, and whenever you're found to still have the sickness,
but it's also proven that
they can analyze the medicine, but the religion promises us an eternal afterlife, whether in heaven or in hell. Okay. So, but you can't prove that. So, I mean, there's a difference. I guess.
What about the fact when people say vaccines don't work? We have proven that they work. We have proof that they work. So, should that be criminal? I'm being devil's advocate because I'm for free speech.
I don't know, because the only thing that these people are profiting is maybe church membership at most. I mean, they're not getting any money off of that.
We should watch the followers of our church and just point out if anybody gets flu. We should point out like, oh, what happened there? Like, what happened to
watch Gloria Copeland get the flu. I want to do some research and see if any of the Copelands have ever had the flu.
Yeah,
like post it on Twitter or something.
Karen is saying, don't waste perfectly good vaccine on this woman. Let nature take its course. Oh no, please don't. No, please, guys. Stupid people don't deserve to die or get ill because of their stupidity. I don't like. Let's not be cruel. I mean, Brax.
I would also like to add that this woman is Donald Trump's evangelical advisor.
Right. I don't even know why would you need that. But anyways, Braxton is saying Jesus, this. Moses, that Abraham hit me with a wiffle ball bat. What? I don't know what it's saying.
Yeah, it's a quote. It's a quote from a movie.
Okay,
that's awesome.
Aaron is saying, I generally disagree with Televangelist and anti-vaxxers, but honestly, if they want to kill each other, who am I to stand in their way? I mean, I repeated this many times. I think stupid people deserve sympathy rather than hatred. Because getting sick or ill or death is not worthy. It's not justifiable just because somebody is stupid. I don't think that's fair. Also, you have to understand that a lot of people, these people have the same beliefs for their kids, and their kids are not even deciding these for themselves. And I don't think they deserve to suffer because of the decisions of their parents.
Okay, so it's my turn to play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay.
What if their parents are teaching them, say, the theory of evolution as we know it, and say, 100 years from now we find that the Big Bang theory as we know it is wrong, that we've actually determined the beginning of the universe and whatever. But you still have some people that continue spreading what they were taught and to future generations. Would you say that that should be? I mean, because that would be verifiably wrong, right? But these people would still hold this deep belief based on tradition.
And what's your question?
Well, I mean, would they still be allowed to do that, or should they still be allowed to teach that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a free speech absolutist. I just think the intentions matter. I have an answer to my own question, actually, because with regards to vaccine, I think for something to be a scam or a con, you actually have to believe yourself that you're lying to people. So, and if you don't believe that you're lying to people, you're technically not, the intentions do matter. You're technically not committing a scam. Even though you're causing harm, it shouldn't be illegal.
Well, it's also a scam because you're making a profit off of it.
No, I think the intentions do matter. I think if you're just dumb and you think what you're selling is...
So,
yeah.
I'm
not saying we shouldn't fight it. Obviously, we should fight it, but
are you saying that, like, a fraud, like if I was selling people empty water bottles and telling them that it was the breath of God and I was giving it away for free, would that be a scam?
Depends on your motivations.
If I was trying to turn people to God, would it be a scam?
Do you think you're actually selling something that is helpful?
No.
Okay, then yeah, you should go to prison.
But I wouldn't be selling it.
What?
But I wouldn't be selling it. I'd be giving it away. So what would be the crime?
Okay, then no. Yeah. Anyways, let's go. I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know. Let's go to next comment. Aaron is saying, I generally oh, I already read that. Julie saying, I'm shocked by this level of stupid. Yeah.
Antediluvian Atheist says, if Jesus is the flu shot, if they get the flu, is that evidence Jesus is not real? Obviously.
I think we should start a movement saying Jesus gave me autism.
That's pretty great.
All right. Go on.
Let's see. Dirty Dancer says, do snake handlers deserve to get bitten by their snakes?
No, exactly. They don't.
Yes.
Even no amount of stupidity justifies people being harmed by it.
And not to mention that the verse that mentions is in the alternate long ending of Mark that was added after Mark was written, so that's not even original to the Bible.
Stupidity is no excuse. Ignorance is excusable. I don't know. People don't choose to be stupid. I think it depends on your genetics, your environment, your upbringing. I think stupidity is just like something that I mean, it's okay to point and laugh sometimes, but at the same time, you have to understand these people are victims of their own stupidity, and I don't think they deserve to suffer for it. Heather is saying this is. No, never mind. All right. Anything in the YouTube live chat?
Nope, that was the last one.
No, I see some other ones. No, Wolf is saying, where does the madness end? I think
that was the last one.
Yeah, what we need to do, I think it's important to cover stories like this. This is not like a small person. This woman has a lot of followers, right? Like, she's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And I think we need to lower our expectations from our fellow human beings if we want to understand how to deal with this level of stupidity. We can't. I mean, it's okay for us to point and laugh, but at some point we also have to think about how we can address this. We can't just be like, oh, why can't just people get educated? Why can't people smarten up? Well, it's not going to happen. You know, it's not. People are not going to. If you just wait for everybody to just go and start studying these stuff, there has to be other ways for us to be able to reach to people and scale it in an effective way. We have to understand what we're dealing with. The people that believe in bullshit like this, these are not abnormal. This is half of humanity or even more. Anyways,
right.
Let's go to the next news.
Florida man drives car into lake because Jesus told him to. According to a police report released Monday, James A. Mucciaccio drove his blue Ferrari into Lake Worth Inlet last month and told police Jesus told him to do it. He caused about $50,000 worth of damage to his 2000 Ferrari coupe that he intentionally drove off a Palm Beach dock. The man told the police, Jesus made me the smartest man on earth, and it's so hard to have this much responsibility. He was able to escape the car before it sank. Whether or not he walked on water to come back to shore is inconclusive. There were no witnesses.
But wait, so did he mention why did Jesus ask him to drive into the lake?
You don't question Jesus, Armin, you just do it.
No, seriously, did he say anything about why Jesus asked him to drive into a lake?
He said, I read several reports that he has said that Jesus said many things, but Jesus told him that God wanted him to drive it away because money didn't matter. But he
was
he
it
also,
a test of faith or something, or he was just randomly asking him to drive into a lake, like
right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like no.
And
he said he's saying that he wanted to show that money doesn't matter.
Well, he said a lot of things. One of the reports was the fisherman that actually helped him out of the water said he told police that this guy Muchacho told him that he drove into the inlet because the officer who was on the dock was Egyptian and didn't believe in Jesus.
So this is kind of like the story of like Jesus asking you to get off the boat and walk on water, and when they scared, they're like, "Oh, do of little faith." Like this is very similar. Like this is very biblical, I think. Like I don't know. Unless, is it biblical to say Jesus is talking to you, or is that anti-biblical?
Well, I mean, the only way that we have the earliest records of Jesus, which are from the Apostle Paul, is because Paul saw Jesus in a vision. Paul never met Jesus face to face.
Oh yeah.
Everything was through a vision. So I mean,
So is he gonna? He should sue Jesus. But
yeah.
when I saw this headline, I imagined Jesus like laughing with other gods and saying, "Hey, look what I can make my followers do."
It's going to be like is Jesus the real mystery witness?
This is another example for why we should lower our expectation from our fellow humans.
And we need to lower our expectation for God. For those of you that do believe, lower your expectation in your God, because even if he has not been demonstrated to not exist, he has been demonstrated to not give a fuck. So I mean, lower your expectations in Jesus and God, and allow science and help science to progress us ourselves. And since God obviously doesn't have the time,
what I'm interested in is I'm pretty sure a lot of Christians when they see a story like this, they would be like, okay, this guy is crazy. Don't think all Christians are like this. This guy doesn't represent us. But I would ask them, why? Why would you disown this person? This person is doing exactly what the Bible, like, how do you know, right? You have similar stories. I mean, come on, Abraham, God told him to kill his own son, and he was like, sure. And, you have people Jesus coming to people and talking to them. How do you not know that this person, you don't get to laugh at a story like this with us atheists. You guys, this is your guy. This is very biblical what this guy is doing. Anyway, let me see what the top comments are. Martha is saying that's what happens when you let Jesus take the wheel. John is saying, Jesus and I had a good laugh about this over beers last night. He told me the whole story. I think he's kind of pissed at guys like this for misrepresenting what he says. That's funny, but I also don't like atheists saying like, oh, I like, quoting Gandhi and saying, I like your Jesus, but not your Christians. It's actually the other way around. Most Christians are pretty good people. Jesus is kind of screwed up. If you read his story, a lot of people say like the problem is not with Jesus or Christianity, the problem is with Christians. No, most Christians are very good, decent people. Christianity is a fucked up, barbaric, backwards religion. Jesus is insane if you read the Bible. Thomas is saying Jesus took the wheel straight to Florida.
No, that's great.
Is Jesus a brand of moonshine? Anything in the YouTube live chat, guys? In the Facebook live chat, if you want me to read it, mention Atheist Republic. Edward is saying God wanted him to appear on the Atheist Republic live chat, so we would all hear the good word. Oh, that was the whole plan, was so that we talk about Jesus on Atheist Republic. That was clever, Jesus. You got us. Anyways,
wow,
YouTube live chat. To be. Yeah, YouTube live chat.
I don't see anything.
I'm seeing Beige tagging us. Oh no, she's talking. Okay, she's talking to someone else about us. Let me see anything else here. Oh yeah. Oh no, that was from the previous news. Sorry, we missed that, Bobby. Okay, so. Oof. Uncover photo. Jesus, this next story is crazy. All right, next news.
Cows made to walk through fire in Karnataka. Where are the Gao rakshaks? An age-old tradition in Karnataka decorates cows with garlands and bells, and then they make them walk over fire. They believe that this will ensure good fortune and protect them from harm. No news from the Gao rakshaks or the self-appointed groups that claim they protect the cows regarding this tradition.
Fucking hell! Weren't Hindus supposed to be nice to cows?
This is really, really awful. Really awful.
This is worse than they get so upset about people slaughtering cows, even if it's in a very humane way, but they are making them walk on fucking fire. They're torturing the cows. This is worse than slaughtering them.
Right.
This is the picture. The image is fucking horrific. Holy shit. I thought Hinduism is pro cow. They just say what the hell is this? This is new to me, by the way. I didn't know this is what is this called? Let me actually, I got this. The person that sent us the story also mentioned this. This is such a hypocrisy. The guy that we got this from, someone from India. He's saying this is pure animal cruelty right there. The festival is called Kichu Hey Suvudu. Sorry if I butchered that. In the Indian state of Karnataka. Sorry again, butchered that as well. Karnataka. The rakshaks cow protectors. They're called the cow protectors. Are not so the people that are called the cow protectors. They're not at all like getting involved in this. Like usually when Muslims or anybody else, when they want to slaughter cows, they get all Hindu jihadi about all of this. They're trying to save the cows, but when they have their own tradition when it comes to torturing cows like this, where are they? So he's saying apparently animal cruelty is fine as long as you don't eat them. This is for people that think that Hinduism is like an animal friendly, nature friendly kind of religion. No, they just condemn it when other religions do it. They have their own barbaric backward practices as well. But go on, sorry.
No, it's just I was just gonna compound on that and just say, I mean, it's not. It's crazy because things like this, they don't even have anything that directly tells them to do this. This is just a tradition that it's like snake handling. It just shows their god's superiority and their god's existence by this happening. It's I don't know.
Oh my gosh, some of these comments are so cruel. I'm not going to read that one. Somebody from India saying that I can't pronounce their name. I think they're from India. Satvik is saying cow gets abducted and returns back after a long time. Man, I don't know. This guy is talking something Indian. I think only the Indian people on our page understand what he's saying. Yeah, this is. Let me see anything in the Facebook. Oh, Grant is saying. Oh no, that's from the previous news. But I want to talk about what you just said regarding this is not part of the scripture. When it comes to a culture or religion, there's a whole body of different concepts that it could be either just part of their practices or part of their texts. And a lot of times when it's not a unanimous thing, a lot of people want to. A lot of apologists of the religion, like whether it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, or Hinduism, they keep pointing out other versions of the religion that doesn't have that, right? But the fact that this comes from your religion shouldn't be disputed. I mean, this is a negative aspect of your religion. Yes, there are examples of parts of your religion that doesn't have this belief, but please also own this because it does come from Hinduism. This is a Hindu practice, right? So just because not all Muslims practice Islamic jihad doesn't mean that Islamic jihad is not Islamic, for example, right? This is part of a Hindu practice. Own it, criticize it. I know a lot of people, a lot of ex-Hindu or even Hindu activists that own this shit. They're like, yeah, this is a problem that we have. Like, for example, a lot of people try to say caste system in India has nothing to do with Hinduism. Bullshit. It's definitely related to Hinduism. Some people that are even Hindu, they say like, yeah, it's a problem that is part of a religion. We have to deal with it. Own it. Fight it. You don't have to come up with this nonsense arguments. Try to, you're not helping. You're helping it last longer by these kind of arguments. Anyways, I'm going to go to anything you wanted to add, Jim?
No, I was just going to add, there's lots of things that people do and practice. I mean, especially Protestant Christians and Catholic Christians and Jews that while traditional, they're not biblical. They're not scriptural. Things like like the Catholics believing that the wine becomes the blood of Jesus and the bread becomes the body of Jesus. It's just people extracting what they want, and then with tradition, I mean, this stuff gets spread. It's like the example that I used with the theory of evolution. Once it gets to a certain point, and if it gets proven wrong, and people continue to spread it, whether or not that they're sincere about their belief it doesn't matter. I mean, what matters is, can you change what you have always believed when presented with something factual?
Kevin is pointing out the part of the the news article that says this is an age-old tradition that is supposed to bring them what
good fortune.
Good fortune, but he's also showing pictures of poverty in that area to show that seems like it's not working. Yeah. Anyways, should we go? Oh, another person is saying, okay, where's PETA? Does PETA cover, did they cover worldwide animal abuse or just Western countries?
Yeah, they address some things, but as far as getting involved, I'm not sure how involved they are overseas.
How many cows have to suffer through this? Is this like a practice that, I don't know, we need to look into this a little bit more. This is fucking barbaric. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, cow abuse in India is a really, really bad deal. Like they're sacred cows. I mean, we're talking like the ones who, all these cows, for this ceremony, for the whole day, they're fed, they're brushed, they're loved on, they're given treats and water and nice hay to lay on.
Oh.
And then they run them through the fire.
Daniel is saying there's also a festival in southern India where Hindus basically bullfight, and PETA has tried to make it illegal, and there was riots over it. This is very bizarre to me. I didn't know Hindus were so mistreat cows this much. I thought it was the other way around. Age-old, anti-atheist is saying age-old means ignorant. Yeah. A lot of times that's true. Anyways, let's go to, let me actually see if it's loading. Yes, it's loading. Okay, let's go to the next news.
Don't send girls to school. It makes them disobedient. Addressing a rally attended by thousands, the Islamist leader Hevajat-e Islam chief Shah Ahmed Shafi made parents promise that they won't send their daughters to school. He said girls should not receive schooling beyond grade 4 or 5 because education would make them disobedient. The 90-year-old Hevajat leader is no stranger to making outright vulgar remarks about women, drawing criticism from rights activists and even the Prime Minister of Bangladesh.
So this is in Bangladesh?
Yes, that's correct. Nepal.
Wait, Nepal or Bangladesh?
I'm sorry, Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, yes. Okay, so this is in Bangladesh. Yeah, but disobedience, by disobedience, you know what they really mean? They mean independent. And technically, he's right, because the way they're thinking about it is that how could we control women if they're not dependent on us?
Right. How can you control women when they have an education, when they can do math, when they can reason for themselves?
Or when where they could get jobs and they're not financially dependent on us, right? I think he's making a good case for education for women, right?
Absolutely.
Disobedient is another word for independent. But I mean, I see this as a good thing, because these people should say these things more so that we see how. I mean, this is what a lot of people think, but don't say. We need people like this to say it out loud for us to see how big of a problem it is. Let me see what the top comment. Rudy is saying, while some UN researchers indicate that women are the best hope for social equality and for limiting overpopulation, and whether is related to it. Actually, there are some studies that shows, and I'm not being sexist here, okay? This is actual studies that show that it seems like women are better at handling money, and like for example, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but for example, the microloans that a lot of people have shown that it's a really good weapon against poverty, where you give microloans for people to start their businesses. That studies have shown that if you give it to women, it works a lot better than if you give it to men. Again, I'm not being sexist against men here. This is actual studies that have shown this.
No, I mean, I would believe that. Just based on my own personal anecdotal experiences.
That's not a good way to believe things, though. Anecdotal.
Well, no, I'm not saying that I believe it. I said I would believe that. I mean, it's believable.
Well, yeah, but don't trust your own personal judgment. I might be wrong. Correct me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and yeah.
No,
and
I would correct you if I knew, but I couldn't. Right. I couldn't say one way or the other.
Another thing is that, a lot of people think the whole world is suffering from overpopulation. That's not true. Some certain countries are suffering, especially poor countries are suffering from overpopulation, and educating women, as Rudy is pointing out, does really help with like when women get educated, they go and start careers instead of having more children, which really helps with overpopulation in those countries. There are some countries that are suffering from underpopulation. Lydia saying there's not one religion that believes women are equal. That's except Wicca, I think, no, and Satanism.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking about
real religion,
I mean, yeah, I don't want to say real religion, because there are people who genuinely believe in that, but every religion has its aspects of sexism, whether they're blatant or subliminal.
Edward saying he is right. Educating women makes us men look bad. The female lecturers in my computer science department are much better than most of the men. I don't know if that's true. I don't think we should use our personal. I mean, there are many things that men are better at. There are many things that women are better at. This is just.
I think that it's important to clarify or to point out that historically women have been excluded from the benefit of being able to have an education, and so men have a much longer line of succession in being educated. So I mean, in some ways, I believe men have taken advantage of that privilege that we've had, and maybe it's possible that these women have a shorter line of succession where they can visually, where they appreciate their education more, where they appreciate being able to learn more.
Facebook live chat: feminism is a religion that. I do agree that there are modern versions of feminism that has gone overboard, but this is not that. But examples like this shows that how feminism is very much needed. Like, right, just because we have examples of some third wave feminists going overboard with some situations, some of what they advocate for, doesn't mean that we should throw out the baby out with the bathwater. This guy right here and a lot of other examples, especially in religious communities, shows how far we need to still go on a global scale. Every movement has some examples of people in there where they ask for things that the original movement is not for, and some people overcorrect things that shouldn't be overcorrected. But when you find those examples, we shouldn't dismiss the entire movement, and we should see how much benefit we got out of it historically, and how much in many places is still needed as a movement, right? And this guy is a proof of that. Anyway.
Right, because what he's doing, he's comparing something what he calls religion, where it's just something where people adhere to these beliefs and they think that they're really important and they devote their lives to it, comparing that to people believing in this supernatural deity and these things that can't be confirmed. So I mean, that's really just false equivocation.
No, he's saying he was just taking a piss, so he was joking.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know he was joking. It's just false equivalency.
Let me see. Portra is saying undereducated people are easier to control and deceive. Exactly. Ironically, boys tend to be disobedient in school, not girls. I don't know if that's true or not. One thing I suggest, like, here's the thing, guys. There are some things that women are better at. There are some things that men are better at. But don't just say it just to virtue signal, right? Say it if it's actually true, or if you're not sure, just say I'm not sure, right? Don't just say, oh, women are better at this, just because you want to score some points in the feminism department, okay?
Just because they want to get laid.
Or something like that, right? Don't that's just lame. If it's true, say it's true. Like, oh, women are better at this. And if it's scientifically proven, say it. Not, because there are certain things that they're better at. It's true. And if you're not sure, like I'm not sure sometimes, just say, I've seen some studies. I haven't looked into it so much, but it seems this is what I've seen so far. Be skeptical about it. Be skeptical about everything. I mean, we're not scientists, so we need to hold these views much less loosely than, unless you actually have really looked into peer-reviewed academic research, you could be like more sure about it than the rest of us. But
that being said, don't be sure of anything that we tell you. Look it up, and if we're wrong, both of us want you to let us know. We don't mind you telling us that we're wrong. We want that.
No, you should definitely tell. Again, what we're covering is just a motivation for people to get curious about things and maybe go look into it, and also correct us. Hopefully, this is the reason why we have such a diverse group live chat on both Facebook and YouTube. So for people to correct us. Edward's saying Atheist Republic. The last comment was a bit of a throwaway joke, but I have just finished a contract PhD work with one of the lecturers showing that high-level STEM women are outperforming men.
I've seen that report.
Work to be published. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I did not know that. All right.
I believe there was a report in 2016 on that's already came out that confirmed that.
Right. Okay, I don't know. That's interesting. If anybody has a link to that, post it in the comment section. Anyway, so should we go to the next news? Yes, let's go.
Nepal woman and children die in banned menstruation hut. After a Nepali mother was banished to a menstruation hut, she and her 2 children have been found dead. The woman had lit a fire to keep them warm in bitter winter temperatures. They have been suspected to have died in their sleep due to smoke inhalation. Blankets in the hut were partially burned, and the mother was found with burns to her legs. In Nepal, the traditional practice of exiling menstruating women from the family home is banned, but is still widely practiced in rural areas. Women who have their periods or who have just given birth are seen as impure or bringers of bad luck.
Even if they've been recently given birth, that's horrific. Wait, what is this? Is this Hinduism?
No, this is Hinduism. I'm sorry.
Okay, so because the person that also sent us this news told us that according to widely held beliefs in India and Nepal, menstruating women are impure and should not enter. Oh yeah, so this is exactly the same reason why they don't let them in temples as well. What is it with women bleeding that so many people are so scared of? It's like, I don't understand what this is like. It's not just Hinduism. Judaism has this as well. Islam has this as well. And these are religions that had no connection with each other for a very long time, and they came out to the same conclusion that menstruating women are dirty and are a curse and big. Why? Like, is there a reason why they're so disgusted by women?
Well, I mean, it's just, I mean, most religions, especially Judaic religions, are patriarchal in origin from the get-go. I mean, God is a he.
No, I understand. We know that.
The first person created was a man. They gave birth to 2 sons. No. I mean,
that's not my question, though. What is it specifically about menstruating women that they are so scared of?
That's what I'm saying, because it's women, because it is exclusive to women, and when men don't suffer from it, so it is another way for the men to portray that and to you know, to give these women this image of being unclean and impure because no man does this.
I don't know if that's the reason, but okay. But so what is it? So they have these huts, and you just the entire time that you're on your period, you have to go and stay in that hut. Is that what they have?
Yes, that's correct.
And they say they're so small, even it's not even fit for a dog to stay there, right? She and her 2 children were found dead. Wait, why were the children there? They were not on their period.
Well, no, but I mean the mother takes care took care of the children.
So the children have to stay there.
You can't. Yeah, but you're not allowed to touch a woman. Well, at least I know in Christianity. I'm not sure about Hinduism, but in Christianity, you cannot touch a woman if she is menstruating or for a certain number of days after she's had a baby. And it depends on how many days you can touch her after she's had a baby, depending on whether she gave birth to a boy or a girl. Is Leviticus 12.
Wait, is
12,
this because of Hinduism? We're talking Nepal here, right? Can you double check? I want to make sure we're getting this right.
Yeah. This is Nepal. That's correct.
So Nepal, wait, Nepal is mostly Hindu or Buddha? I thought Nepal was Buddhist.
This is
Nepal religion.
This may be Islam since it is Judaic. That is a Judaic tradition. Let's see.
Seems to be religions go on about. So Bij is saying seems to be.
Yes. It is. They are saying that it is linked to Hinduism.
Hinduism. I was right. Okay.
They're saying that women can bring bad luck.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So
and
again,
they're also banned from touching the cattle and touching men. And they can't have some foods. They can't use the normal toilets. Touching
the cattle. They can't touch the cattle. So between humans and the cattle, they're like, don't touch the animals because you're going to bring the
children, because if the children touch them, they're also unclean. So I mean,
hell? This is so fucked up.
Right. It was Leviticus 12:5. It says that if a woman gives birth to a girl, then she is unclean for 2 weeks, just like she is when she's menstruating. It's different if it's just a boy.
So this is a lot of people that say, oh, Hinduism is not a religion, it's a way of life, it's beautiful, it's just a philosophy. First of all, it is a religion and a way of life at the same time. Religion is a way of life. It's a fucked up way of life, and Hinduism is a fucked up way of life. And here's another, people say, oh, Hinduism is just a way of life. Yeah, it is a way of life, and we can show you, have a lot of examples to show you how fucked up of a way of life it is.
Okay. It says that a woman normally must wait 33 days to be purified from bleeding. But if she gives birth to a girl, then she is unclean for 2 weeks after giving birth, just like during her period. But then she has to wait another 66 days to be purified from her bleeding. That's crazy.
Bobby's saying menstruating women don't touch the cow. Fire, you may touch the cow. This is based on our earlier story. Yeah, it is fucking crazy. To poor children. I hope the death.
And they must have been locked in. They must not have been able to get out. I mean, that's.
Nader is saying, and we are supposed to respect everything about other cultures. This is so wrong on so many levels. We need to stop this. Tony's saying, is it right to respect other people's beliefs? Nope. Sarah saying, is it bad that I feel relief that she dies so she doesn't have to live in the bullshit society that she was born into? Yeah, I think that's kind of bad.
It sucks that people are so concerned about all these victims, but they have most people don't have concern for all the potential victims. Like, this could happen to anybody, and these people are fooled into believing that they are submitting themselves to these conditions for the right reasons.
Wait, is it true that they only got a $27 fine?
I know that the bodies were released, and yes, anyone who makes a woman do that's the only sentence, is a $27 fine. But I don't know if there can be other charges, but that's just the charge for the woman for making a woman do it.
Wow, they should go to jail. I mean, if you put somebody in a cage or lock them up somewhere, That's your own private prison. If that should be a crime. You should go to prison for putting somebody in prison. This shouldn't be like a fine. This should be this should be something that you get arrested for. Like here in the civilized world, if I lock up my wife, there would be somewhere. This would be abuse.
Right, and if you locked up your wife and then the house burned down and killed her, you would be charged with the imprisonment and the murder. Well, whether or not it was your fault, because it was still your fault. She couldn't get away.
Right. I mean, yeah. This Nepal, you need to do a better job. This shouldn't be just a fine. People should get arrested for treating their people like this.
Yeah, Nepal, get your shit together.
Yeah, Nepal. Let's see. Let me see. So YouTube live chat. Anything we're tagged? No, I don't see anything we are tagged. All right. So I guess we could go to the next news.
Saudi Arabian women threaten to flee country en masse if they are not given basic rights. If the government does not pursue means to end a male guardianship system that bars women from doing basic activities, a growing wave of Saudi Arabian women threaten to flee the country. Women posted using an Arabic language hashtag that roughly translates to "remove the guardianship system or we'll all migrate," with some writing that had been inspired by the recent case of Saudi Arabian teenager Rahaf Mohammed Al-Qanoun. The migration threat hashtag began to trend on Saudi Arabia social media, and I've actually seen it on my own Twitter passing through my feed. So that's awesome that it's reaching.
Yeah, as Mars is pointing out in the YouTube live chat, Rahaf seems to have set off this trend, which is really good. But I don't know how they. I mean, these women are badass. This is the kind of feminism we need more of.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know how they would do that, because the way Rahaf got away is that she was on vacation in Kuwait. So if she was leaving from Saudi Arabia, she wouldn't be able to do that because they would check with your guardian, right?
Right, because in order to travel or to get a passport, you have to have permission from your guardian.
Even if you have a passport, you can't just show up at the airport and be like, "I'm leaving," because they're like, "Okay, let's notify your guardian first, see if you're allowed," right? I mean, we interviewed this girl that ran away from Saudi Arabia on Secular Jihadists. Go check that episode out. It's pretty awesome. She stole. I don't know what she did. She changed the setting, because your guardian or owner technically gets notification whenever your woman or your property, to be technically honest, is trying to run away. You get notified. And when she was running away, she went and changed the setting so that the notification comes to her instead. So when she was in the airport, she saw the notification on her phone, which was amazing. And she also signed. She hacked everything, and she signed for on behalf of her own father for herself. So she ran away that way. But it's not easy. So and Rahaf managed to run away because she was running away from Kuwait, not directly from Saudi Arabia. So I mean, as much as I want to see these women being able to do that, I wonder how they're going to be able to do that directly from Saudi Arabia, given the tight control that the guardians have over women. But yeah, I wish them luck. Maybe we should teach them how they could, hack into the system, and give them fake doc. I don't know. We might put them at risk. I don't know. What
I mean, maybe if there's some concerned group out there who has the ability to, maybe somebody should just hack into the entire system and change everybody's settings.
Well, I mean, okay. So here's the thing. Even if they can't do that, the point of this hashtag, the main point of this hashtag, I think, is the more embarrassment to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has been suffering a lot in the past year from really bad PR, and it's really hurting them economically, politically. Their support is other countries' support. A lot of people are putting pressure on their politicians because of all this, because of Rahaf, because of Khashoggi, and it's not very popular to work with Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is getting weaker and weaker in the region because of this bad PR. So even if this hashtag, even if women these women that with the activism that they're doing, if they can't leave Saudi Arabia, what they're effectively are doing is bringing more negative attention to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia might feel pressure to change their guardianship laws because of all this negative attention that they're getting. And they do care. A lot of people think they don't care, but they do care because the negative PR does influence their power in the region. But go on, sorry.
But you also take into consideration they have negative PR to account for, but they have to improve their relations with not just the rest of the world, but with these people who are perpetuating this culture, with their own citizens. So I mean, they're going to have to address it one of two ways, and either they're going to piss off the world or they're going to piss off their citizens. So I mean, either they're going to denounce it and say that it's wrong and take additional measures to enforce these laws that are already there, or they will allow it to continue just to save face with their local culture.
Mars in the YouTube live chat saying, I've chatted online with some Saudi Arabian folks. Some seem to be under the impression that reform is coming slowly under MBS or Mohammed bin Salman, but I'm not so optimistic. First of all, let's never give credit to Mohammed bin Salman for any reform. If any real reform that happens in Saudi Arabia, it was not because they chose it. It was because they were pressured and forced in that position. Mohammed bin Salman should be in prison forever. He's a fucking barbaric monster. That any reform that he does is because he was forced in that position, and also he has committed so much human rights violation that, I mean, they made women allowed to drive, and at the same time arrested all the women that many of the feminist activists in Saudi Arabia that fought for those rights are now in jail because of it.
Yeah, it was like a week before. It was like 100 women they arrested.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is actually going backwards. Don't let Saudi Arabia's PR fool you. More political prisoners than ever before. More people just disappearing and dying. More political competition just being crushed. Anything that they do, they just highlight it more than anything else just for the PR issue. But the PR is not working, and that's a good thing. Don't let their PR work. Yeah, fuck Mohammed bin Salman. Edward in the Facebook live chat is saying, we have a few Arabic women who are doing bachelor's and master's and PhDs who have been asking if we can help them not go home. Yes, they are select few that come to Western universities, but let me see more. But one helps where one can. Oh, wow. Yeah, please try to find a way to keep them there. These are people that, yeah, I mean, seems like they're valuable assets to keep. Anyways, let me see what the top comment on Facebook post is. Lena is saying, and then when they flee, they want to wear hijab in other countries and follow rules they fled from. Genius. That is not true, Jihad. I met a lot of these women that want to run away. They don't want anything to do with any of the laws when they flee. What are you talking about, Lena? You have no idea about these women that want to run away from Saudi Arabia. They're, if you look at Rana Ahmad, that ran away from Saudi Arabia, she hates the Quran. She hates Islam. She's an atheist. If you look at Rahaf that ran away from Saudi Arabia, she's an open atheist. She hates Islam. She doesn't want to wear the hijab. I can't believe that this is the top comment. The 275. Wow. Okay. You have no idea what you're talking about. Chris,
you have no idea what you're talking about, Armin. Every single woman and girl that is being kept as property over there, they want to be property.
No. Christoph is saying this is the kind of shit that happens when you let religion govern countries, separate religion and state. What else do you have? How can we help empower these women? Yeah, use their hashtags, share their stories, and write to your government officials, telling them not to, as long as human rights violations are happening in Saudi Arabia, you don't want them doing any deals with Saudi Arabia. let me see. Grant is saying in the Facebook live chat is saying, wouldn't it make more sense to accept female refugees than male? Statistic would say the majority of women are less violent and more open to a different ideal. I don't think with any general rule like that makes sense. I think you should do individual. You should investigate every case, separately from the other ones, right? Like, it would be kind of discrimination if you make a blanket rule based on sex, based on gender, based on religion, based on anything. I think every case has to be investigated separately. Christy is saying in the Facebook live chat, saying, love Armin. Oh, thank you. Glad the fighter is taking action. Oh, that was the first news item. Thank you, by the way.
Mars says, I agree, Armin. It wasn't my opinion, but it was that of the people I spoke with.
Yeah, I know. Mars, you're very smart. I know it.
Mars is very smart.
Yeah, he is. All right, let's see. Should we go to the next story?
Yes. California church falsely claims Bruce Jenner is still a man. Outside Trinity Bible Presbyterian Church is a sign that provoked outrage from the public that says Bruce Jenner is still a man. Homosexuality is still sin. The culture may change. The Bible does not. People from across Siskiyou County gathered at a church to protest the sign, viewing it as hateful and exclusionary. The pastor said that his congregants support the message.
Well, didn't they take the sign down? Like they damaged the sign or something?
Somebody broke the plexiglass that was on the outside of it and stole some of the letters and turned the power off or cut some wires for the power.
Yeah, don't do that.
But somebody else put the sign back up.
Yeah, people. I mean, if you disagree with some church's opinion, go protest. Tell them why they're wrong. Please don't damage property. That's not the right way of doing this, right? You agree with me? This is bullshit. Don't go break church's signs. That's that's
what you can do is go and stand on public property very close to that with another sign that points out their bigotry. And I mean, what we need to do is we need to shame these people. We can't just let these people keep continuing these beliefs, but we can't lash out irrationally either. We need to address it. We need to shame them, humiliate them, and make the world realize how ridiculous these people are.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to humiliate, like you could tell them why you disagree with them.
Absolutely humiliate them, because they have no reason to believe what they do and to promote the shit that they do. You need to show the world the they like it when you humiliate them. Like, okay, there's different ways of going about this. First of all, I know our audience is split on this topic, but we already have episodes on that covering gender binary and transgender stuff. We're not going to get into that debate right now. We have 2 episodes covering those stuff. Go watch that, right? And I know our audience is pretty split on this. But whatever your opinion is on this, I think it's fine to ridicule ideas you disagree with. It works a lot of times. But I think there's room for both. There's room for ridiculing and but also room for actually going and talking to people you disagree with in a civil way and having a friendly discussion with them. And I think both, depending on your audience, there's room for both of those, right? But don't damage people's property in any way. But I don't know. I mean, why is this even news? Is it because because a church being anti-homosexuality and anti-transgender stuff, that by itself is nothing new. I think it's because of the protests and the vandalism that it became news, right? Right. Well, and some of these people at these rallies were preachers from other churches and congregants from other churches. So these were other religious people that were standing up against it and saying that even though that they believe that homosexuality is a sin and that they don't necessarily disagree with the sign, they disagreed with his message, his general message.
See, our top comment on Facebook is actually something by Craig. He's saying California church accurately claims Bruce Jenner is a man, fixed it for you. So Craig disagrees with us on transgender issues. which is, fine, you could disagree with us, but I know our audience is pretty split on this. Jason is saying, falsely claims, what, Bible or not, he's a man, objective fact. I mean, you guys really need to look into the science of this, because transgender, I mean, this is a problem with also transgender activism, because transgender is a real thing. It's been part of history. I really don't understand why people are thinking this is not scientific. There's so many research that shows this is a real thing. Again, people confuse sex and gender with each other. It's a real thing. It has happened throughout history. We have examples of it forever. But I do think that a lot of the social justice warriors and the far left are responsible because for a lot of people. The bad PR of transgender rights activism is responsible for a lot of people thinking that this is all false. I do think that this hasn't been marketed. There's two reasons why this is so popular to think that everything transgender related is false, even among the atheist community. One, because bigotry against being homophobe is not as popular as it used to be, right? So I guess a lot of people are now moving to the next thing, which is being transphobic. So they're moving to the next phase, and I guess at some point that's not going to be as popular either. But so that's their own fault. But I do think that, I mean, we have an entire episode on this with Jack. Did you see that? We had a really great episode on how bad transgender rights activism has been done.
I did see that.
And it has turned off a lot of people, which if it was done right, I mean, it's a very important movement which has been hijacked by the far left. Let me see if there's any pro-transgender comments here in our community. Oh my god, no, the third one is also anti-transgender. Brian is saying, wait, so if his DNA was found at the crime scene, would police be looking for a man or a woman? Again, this is the confusion between gender identity and your biological sex. People, I don't know why people don't seem to get that. Shania is saying, Bible has 44 different versions in the past 10 years. The Lord of the Ring book has had less changes, including, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right about being false. I'll fix it. Kathleen Jenner is a man. No, I'm not seeing a single. What the hell? Is there anybody here that is pro-trans in the top comments?
Well, they likely wouldn't or didn't comment because I mean, I don't. The story really isn't about transgenderism. I mean,
but the comments are.
Well, yeah, just because you have that person who anytime that somebody says trans or mentions trans or breathes trans, they have to say something.
Okay, guys, go look at the episode that we did on trans. Just search. We have 2 episodes on this. Go just search Atheist Republic and transgender on YouTube. Watch our episode on this. Let me see. Dirty Dancer is saying, are otherkin real? Otherkin? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, let's see. Atheist Republic. It's a real otherkin, kind of like people that identify as wolves or something, some stuff like that. Yeah, no, I don't. There is no. I mean, that's a new thing that people are just made up. But transgender.
I mean, maybe I believe that somebody could identify if they wanted to with it, but
no,
I don't believe that.
There's nothing. But transgender thing is a real thing. We have. It's been with us forever.
No, you can't compare those.
That stuff is made up. Okay? So let me see. Atheist Republic. It's a real thing, but it's still men that photologically that feel the way they are women. Yeah, their sex is male, their gender is woman. That's exactly, you're right, that's what they are. I'm not against trans people. I just think they are men with a particular condition, and the episode with Jack was great. Thank you. But okay, you're referring to their sex. I understand that that their mental identity is different from the sex that they're born with, and this is a real thing that happens, and has happened for a long time. So you could still say that their biological sex is male, but their gender identity is different. It's not, and I think you're agreeing with it. And everything other than that, if we agree with that as scientifically, then everything after that is just semantics. Daniel is saying, I don't think that that is what most of your audience thinks. We did a poll. It came out as split. It was pretty 50-50. But again, every time I say this, even if we disagree on this, okay, I mean, if you look at the science, it seems to be pretty clear and cut, but I might be wrong, okay? But even if you think the science shows something else and we say, no, the science shows this, what we have to understand is, first of all, I'm not a scientist and most of you guys are not scientists. So we should hold these views with a little bit of a skepticism. But I'm hoping that the humanists in our audience could agree that whatever you think about transgender people, we think it's a real thing. You guys think you might think it's made up. But can we agree that they shouldn't be mistreated, they shouldn't be discriminated against? And can we also agree that there's real oppression and discrimination against these people? And even if you think they're wrong to identify as men or women, if it doesn't match their biological sex, I think based on what I've seen is that they're right. But even if you think they're wrong, I'm hoping that you agree, at least on this point, that they shouldn't be mistreated. I'm hoping most of our audience at least agrees on this, and that there is a lot of mistreatment of them, and that it should be stopped. I think on that point, I'm hoping that we could agree on, with most of us audience could agree on. But the church sign is not wrong either. Well, I disagree with you on that, but I'm hoping that we could agree on not only agreeing that they shouldn't be mistreated, but also stand against people that are mistreating them. We should have another episode on going over the science behind transgender stuff on Atheist Republic, I think.
Yes,
and
we
should have somebody that disagrees. Like we should have two people.
I know a geneticist who would probably come on.
Okay, but we should bring somebody that also like challenges our guest at the same time, so you could respond to all the critiques, right? I'll just be on as a moderator or something like that.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. I think let's go to the next news.
Let's see. Violence erupts over Israeli museum sculpture of a crucified Ronald McDonald. At Israel's Haifa Museum of Art, a 2015 sculpture of a crucified Ronald McDonald called McJesus by artist Janie Linonen created a stir as hundreds of Arab Christians clashed with police over what they claimed was an offensive piece of art that mocked their faith. Police used tear gas and stun grenades to clear the protesters. Culture Minister Miri Regev sent Haifa Museum Director Nissim Tal a letter calling for the removal of the sculpture. The museum officials did not remove it, but put up a sign warning people about the potentially offensive pieces of art in the exhibit.
They should put a sign saying snowflakes are not allowed. But wait, isn't there an update to this news that they actually eventually removed that?
This is awesome. Well, I mean, eventually it was an entire exhibit, so eventually all of the pieces came down. But there was I was looking at the rest of the exhibits, and they're so good that, I mean, I don't know why this one was the one that made it. There was a Ken doll that, like in the Barbie box, and it was a Jesus Ken, like on the cross. There was a Jesus behind this glass, and it said for the resurrection, break glass. I mean, it's just some really, really funny pieces.
I really hope this backfires and more museums decide to like, hey, let's get some news coverage by putting this stuff up. Every time people try to be like, hey, we're offended, take this down, we're going to make you take this down, it needs to backfire. I'm really glad.
It's crazy because the whole exhibit was to outline issues with religion in contemporary culture. So, I mean, that's what these people were portraying in the beginning. So these people went there knowing that these exhibits had to do with problems with modern religion. So, yeah. I mean, what were they expecting? Like, I mean, there are some people, who, like, for instance, somebody who's like, I hate the gays, but they will go out of their time to make a poster and go to a gay pride parade to stand there. You know what I mean?
I mean, they should be able to spread their opinions, but they should let other people do whatever the fuck they want as well. I mean,
yeah,
like who gives a shit that you?
Yeah.
And again, this was in Israel, right? So you can't get away with stuff like this in other countries around that region, but. This, and also this is one good thing about this story is that thank you for showing us that Muslims are not the only one that get overly offended about shedding on their religion. Like Christians have that. I mean, these people came out to protest. Like there was violence here, right? Like so it's not. These people are really offended. Let me see what the top comment is. Tom is saying all of this over some clown on a cross wouldn't be the first time. But Christy in the live chat is saying Mac crucified. Brian is saying if the Christian God doesn't want it displayed, then he should miracle it away because it is still there. Obviously, God wants it displayed. That's a Calvinian argument, I think.
I am risen.
Mike, oh come on, Jim, you're such a dad. Mike is like, this is certainly is a good illustration of modern Christianity. Yeah, I was gonna say something. You distracted me. I forget. Oh, wait. So one thing I think Christians should get offended about if they want to be consistent is that they should go and take out any crucifixion of Jesus because isn't it thou shalt not engrave the image, the image of God.
Thou shalt not make into thee any graven image
of God. Like I never understood how could you have so many Jesus portraits and crucifixions and statues, given that that's one of the 10 Commandments that you shouldn't be having that.
At the time, it had to do with the Canaanite god Baal and them making the golden calf and other idols and stuff like that.
Grant is saying, that, I'm sorry, that's a beautiful piece of art. Yeah, it does look kind of cool. So Bobby is saying, was he leaking ketchup from his hands? Oh, Bobby, you're an artist. You should have added that. They also rioted because of the movie The Last Temptation of Christ. Oh, really?
And like a McDonald's French fry in your back seat, it will last forever.
Dirty Dancer saying turn the other cheek equals fast food fight. Daniel saying I think that wait, how did the museum get away with this? Wouldn't McDonald have a problem with this? Wouldn't they be like, this is like a trademark infringement or something?
Well,
like that?
I mean, no, because it doesn't say that it was Ronald McDonald. It just implies it.
Well, I mean, it looks so much the same that they could. I don't know. Daniel,
I don't know. It is art.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's fair use. I think the idea is that the church is like a corporation. Yeah, I saw some. Yeah, I guess that's what is that what it's trying to say? Interesting. I don't know, but you get what you can from art. Anyways, let's go. We end on a good news.
Yes, definitely good news. Denmark doctors declare circumcision of healthy boys ethically unacceptable.
Yay.
Denmark doctors believe circumcision has no meaningful health benefits. According to a nationally representative poll from the summer of 2016, 87% of Danes favor a legal ban on non-therapeutic circumcision of boys under the age of 18. doctors and medical organizations in Denmark, the other Nordic countries, and with one notable exception elsewhere in the Western world, agree that circumcision of healthy boys is ethically problematic. Not one medical association in the whole world recommends circumcision of healthy boys.
So, is this Denmark is leading the is this, are they going to make it a law or something, or is they just declaring it as unethical?
Yes, they're going to make a legal they're talking about a legal ban.
This is great.
Yes, absolutely.
This is great. This is going to offend a lot of Muslims and Jews in Denmark. They're already very offended over the whole, like in some parts they are making halal and kosher. First they went with making halal and kosher illegal. Now they're going after circumcision. Like, I think Muslims and Jews in Denmark are going to start uniting with each other against the government. But go on, sorry.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that. Maybe there'll be some kind of a merging of ideas. We'll see, like one of the first Islamic Judaic merging of ideas.
Activism, yeah.
Wow.
This is, but this is great. I mean, honestly, if we lived in a just world, anybody going with a knife after an infant would be put away in prison and be forced to never be close to children ever again. Like seriously, like this, the fact that this is not already illegal everywhere, it's mind blowing to me. Like, if right?
Yeah, I do want to put out there that the one country that I reference that is out of sync with everybody else in the entire world, that one country is the United States. Our federal health authorities and associations of pediatrics, our obstetricians, everybody endorses and performs this practice.
This is, again, the influence of religion even on the secular world, which shows that how religion fucks up everything, even when it doesn't, even in places where it pretends not to be dominating things.
Yeah. They make it's a several $100 million a year industry. The circumcision is the most widely done surgical procedure. It is done more than any other surgical procedure.
Yeah, we should call it infant torture rather than circumcision.
I agree. I believe we should call it male genital mutilation. Call it what it is.
Somebody in the live chat pointed out that they do actually call it male genital mutilation, and yeah, but maybe
not in anything, not in any medical journal or anything official that it refers to it. It's referred to as circumcision. It's using the Judaic terminology. It's not calling it what it is. The only people who are calling it what it is are activists.
Mars is saying people shouldn't give a shit. I'm going to read it as shit. People shouldn't give a shit if they're offended. The kids are safe from this shit. End of story. Yeah, and if it was up to me, it would be illegal, and if anybody did it, the child would be separated from the parents, right? I mean, if a parent went with a knife, or any doctor went with a knife and cut off a child's, tiny finger, or earlobes, or any other part, that doctor would lose their license. They might go to jail, and they would never be around an infant ever again. So we shouldn't make an exception for their genitals if we don't make that for any other parts of their body. Why is the genitals an exception? What go on.
I'll just say I love this. I loved what Denmark did, because they didn't outlaw circumcision. They didn't say that you can't be circumcised. They said that you can't be circumcised until you are at an age of informed consent. You cannot be circumcised until you can make an informed decision on your own. Right.
No, I mean, you like I said, chop off your entire arm if you're an adult. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want with your body. But you can't do that to people that can't defend themselves and can't say no, right? I mean, I saw some video on Facebook that somebody tattooed their baby, and everybody, or like also when they put earrings on their baby because they can't say no, right? And in the comment section, everybody was fucking pissed off. I'm like, well, the tattoo is less damaging and the earring is less damaging than chopping off parts of someone's body. Like, why aren't people as pissed off when it comes to cutting off body parts? I mean, if this was not normalized by religion, and if it was just being introduced right now, people would be like, everybody would be like, what the fuck? Like, imagine if this wasn't the norm and there was a new cult and they came to you and like, there's this new cult, and you know what they do with their babies? They cut off parts of their genitals. Anybody would be like, holy fuck, what? Like, no. Like, but it's so normalized that people just accept it. It's, oh my God. And again, I mentioned earlier today that most of this, you know, a lot of this happens with no anesthetic, so they are feeling it. This is a lot of babies are going through so much pain, experiencing the pain, and a lot of people excuse it by saying they won't remember, but they're experiencing it then and there. So you're torturing babies. You're torturing babies, and they're feeling it, and this should be a crime. You know, I hope Canada and US, you know, follow up on this. This is already the rest of Europe is already on this, right? Like most of circumcision.
Yeah. All the rest of the Western world. I mean, yeah.
Anyways, okay. I think.
Yeah, it's
let me read the top comments. Reza saying, those who think circumcision is best for cleanliness, chop off your nail areas from your fingers and toes. You will never have to trim and clean your nails. It would be amazing cleanliness benefits. But no, but I mean, the one study that made that claim that it was refuted, like it's bullshit. It's good. There's a very small percentage of babies that need it because some health issues, but there's a very small percentage, and for those that would make sense, but for everybody else, this is fucking barbaric. Cody is saying it's not an opinion topic. A human should not have anything removed from their body without consent, except as a life-saving procedure. It does not matter how you feel about it. It is not a Republican or Democrat, male, female, religious, or atheist matter. It is a basic human right. If we do not uphold at least those, then why even coexist at all? Great comment. Tim is saying, I'm happy to have all of my wiener, my body, my choice.
Same here, bro.
Erica is saying, ethical doctors do not cut healthy flesh off healthy patients who can not consent. Well, good. At least our community seems to be pretty good on this one. Bobby is saying, good. As a male who is circumcised, I would have liked to decide on my own. You know, a lot of people say, to me, the main problem with this, I mean, I understand the argument that they're losing a lot of, you know, sexual pleasure or whatever after, which is important. But to me, I already thought this was barbaric and wrong. But to me, this got a whole new level of wrong the day I learned that these babies are going through all of this without anesthetics. To me, that made the whole thing, because apparently you can't it's bad for the baby to put that much anesthetics on them. But for me, this went to a whole new level of wrong when I found out that millions of babies are being tortured all around the planet.
I want to point out that that even though God was able to tell Mary that she was pregnant with Jesus, and what he'd be called Emmanuel, and would be the savior of Israel and all this other good stuff, God did not tell her to not circumcise Jesus. So Jesus was circumcised. It explicitly says that in the Bible. So apparently God didn't know that it was not ethically necessary.
Dirty Dancer saying you can avoid some penile cancers. I mean, no. Penile cancers.
I mean, yeah, you can avoid breast cancer by cutting off your breast, but I mean, why would you do that?
Right. I mean, no, but I mean, the experts don't suggest that. So,
if it has cancer, like you're talking about, like cancer of the penile glands, I'm guessing that's what you're referring to. Then you have it removed. I mean, you don't remove something because it could get cancer. You can get skin cancer, but you don't remove your skin.
Or maybe you could just, while you're at it, remove one of the testicles as well to reduce testicle cancer by 50% as well, I guess.
And to reduce glaucoma by 100%, remove your eyeballs.
Yeah. So Grant is saying, what do they do with those small onion rings after that was? Well, actually, I know.
Um,
Don't they go into beauty products for makeup?
I haven't heard
Yeah.
heard that. I mean,
Look it up.
maybe
They do.
that's
It's fucked up. Actually, your makeup might have baby bits in it. So,
well.
yeah. So let me see. Okay, that was the last one.
That's just pretty crazy. In Exodus, the guy named Zipporah, when he circumcised his son, it says that he used a sharp rock and that he cut his son's foreskin off, and then he threw it at Moses. And apparently that was the deal between him and Moses. It was like some kind of a covenant between him and Moses. He was making some kind of a deal with him.
Yeah, no, the story is that when Moses was going to Egypt, I think when he was going to Egypt, right? God apparently found out, and he didn't know. He all of a sudden found out that Moses hasn't circumcised his own son. And God was so pissed off that he started chasing Moses around trying to kill him. And while Moses was running around trying to avoid God killing him, Moses' wife took out a sharp knife and just cut off the penis right there and then, and threw the bits at God's feet, or Moses' feet. Moses' feet. And then God saw that it was okay circumcised. So God was like, then he left.
Right. Well, but he didn't know that God was doing that though. He thought that Moses was having God do that. It wasn't God chasing him around. It was Moses having God do it because Moses found out that his kid wasn't circumcised.
Right. But yeah, and this is in the Bible, guys.
Well, actually, there's a lot of copies of the Bible. Most of them, in fact, leave this part of Exodus out.
Wow. There's also parts of the Exodus where David gets 200. Penis bits and gives it as gift to a king to marry his daughter. It's really bizarre, but the Old Testament's very obsessed with penises. It's kind of like
it's like one ring. I got you hundreds.
Yeah. No. He asked for 100, but he brought 200. Anyways, Brody in the Facebook live chat is saying it's skin cream. So some skin creams has baby bits in it.
So you take off other people's skin so you can save your skin.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Well, how do you sleep at night with all that penis on your face?
Supposed to be, again, Facebook live chat is saying it's supposed to be buried in Judaism, but in many cases snatched to use for superstitious practices. Grant is saying that's how feminism began. I don't know what you're talking about. 200 Philistines foreskins. Wow. So yeah, foreskins apparently could be used as gift to kings to get their daughters, or you could put it in your face skin cream, or you could bury it, or you could use it for some superstitious stuff.
Or you could eat it.
Ew. Okay, it's weird. Religion is fucked up. Anyways, anything?
Way to go, Denmark. Denmark doctors who have declared this ethically unacceptable. You guys are badass. I just want to end this with a huge thank you.
Yeah, better late than never. Oh, Brody's saying I posted info on AR about it recently. Okay, thank you, Brody.
Thank you.
All right, thank you everybody in the Facebook live chat. By the way, the reason why I didn't read your name is because I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. But thank you so much for all your comments, Grant, Brody, Bij, and Chrissy. You two are amazing as always. Mars, Khalid. Let me see. Doorknob Head,
Vibrantly Brantley, Christy,
Danielle,
Beach,
Stacy. I have to read.
Okay. I think we have a Dane in here actually. The Danskish world champion. Is that Danish? Am I wrong there?
I don't know. Mike is here. Oh, Mike is here. Live long and prosper. Mike, we usually only find out that he was here at the end of the.
Michal, what's up, man?
Mike, that's Mike. He likes to be called Mike.
Mike. Well, why does he have it? How does he have Michal then?
No, he prefers Mike. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you guys for disagreeing with us. Thank you for correcting us when we were wrong and giving us more information. And thank you for staying with us for this long. And we'll see you again next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.